Hi, good evening all. So this video will be quick. It's just an addendum to or furtherance to or attachment to my previous video yesterday, in which I talked about quite a number of things in one message, which is why somebody probably commented on my YouTube and told me that it was very verbose, but it didn't get any message, right? But in reality, a 5-year-old child could have grasped the messages that was in that video yesterday. But anyhow, for the sake of children in adult bodies, I will give a brief recap on the stuff I talked about in the video yesterday. One, I would have spoken about the fact that we have part of our lives we can utilize our free will, and we should utilize our free will, right? But then there's another part of our lives that is beyond our control, right? Which you would think is common sense, right? A certain part of our life, we are free to utilize our free will, but then the other part of our lives is beyond our control, right? We can't control everything in life, can't control everything in our personal lives. We certainly can't control everything in the whole wide world, right? So certain things we can't direct, we can't control, certain things we can't. That's one of the things that I talked about yesterday, right? Another thing I talked about was healing through spiritual law, and my journey, basically healing through spiritual law. How I was able to heal through the application of spiritual law and the teaching of spiritual law. Now I think that this path is really the path of healing is really the best approach to healing, that self-healing one can possibly take, right? So that was a second point that I raised in my video. I also mentioned about the fact that it is okay, right, to not denounce religion entirely, right? You can utilize religion once you apply natural law through the religion itself, right? For example, I don't need to give up chanting or praying in my own way if that brings comfort to me, if that brings peace to me, if that brings joy to me, because I am aligned with spiritual law, or almost there anyhow, right? So you don't necessarily have to give up the things that are personally the things in a religion that is comfortable to you, insofar as it is not causing harm to others, right? Insofar as it's not causing harm to others, which is the whole point, right? So you can apply natural law through Hinduism, you can apply natural law through Islam, you can apply natural law through Christianity, or you could apply natural law through agnosticism, right? Which is, you don't even know if you believe in God or not, right? But you are aligned with spiritual law, right? Which means that you actually are on a spiritual path anyhow, right? So these are some of the things that I would have discussed yesterday in my video. I would have also contended with and asked questions regarding vegetarianism and Islam and so on, and you know, question certain things in these ways of life. And these are basically things, the nature of what I discussed in my previous video. So I don't know how I could have broken down that any simpler. So I ended that video yesterday, started in a discussion about exoteric versus esoteric versus esoteric aspects of religion, which is what I want to go a little bit deeper in today, which I shouldn't be too long, right? So just to continue with the differences between the inherent differences between exo and esoteric aspects of religion, right? The exoteric is based on traditions and belief systems passed on from generation to generation. Exoteric, right? Traditions, based on traditions. So say for example you come from Hinduism, right? You know, when you're going through all these life milestones, for example, you're getting married or you die, right? All these things. Sorry, that is not really a milestone, but you guys know what I mean, right? So all these different stages in life, right? There are certain rituals that is recommended for you to do and so on. Within each religion have these things, right? When you start studying, when you're getting married, right? Or even if you're just having like a normal praise home, right? There are certain traditions that that rules, regulations, you know, if you're females, if you're on your menstrual cycle, you're not supposed to deal up with the prayers material and all that kind of nonsense, right? All of these traditions passed down from generation to generation, right? These are features of exoteric religion, external trappings that have absolutely nothing to do with God whatsoever, right? Right? Are you telling me that because I am on my menstrual cycle, I am not allowed to hold a flower that is to be used for prayers, or I'm not allowed to participate in a ritual that's whatever, right? External trappings, right? External trappings, which would have had its utility back in the day when that tradition would have been useful, right? When that tradition would have been useful, right? So, whereas exoteric is based on these external trappings or traditions, right? Esoteric is based on gnosis, knowledge, self-knowledge, seeking knowledge of self, and speaking knowledge of self, and speaking knowledge of universal laws. Once you know the universal laws, you know yourself. Once you know yourself, you know universal laws. As within, so without, as above, so below. Hermetic principle, right? Another difference between exo and esoteric. Exoteric religion, aspects of religion, is based on mind control, right? You have a pandit, pastor, imam, religious leader, right? You have a religious leader, and the purpose of this religious leader and scriptures and so on, right, is intended for, scriptures were written for the intentions that it was written for, and the purpose religious leaders are there for is basically to for the main purpose of mind control, right? In case you all have not realized this as yet, right? One would think that this is obvious given the state of society today. Like, religion is indeed the opium of the masses, the external aspects of religion, right? And if you all ain't realized this by now, well, I don't know. Well, crapo smoke your pipe, right? That's a local saying. For anybody who might be foreign and looking at this video, crapo smoke your pipe, right? It means basically your dog's dead, which is an ex-local saying. I don't know how else to say this, but basically what this means is that you have no hope in life again, right? You really have no hope in life again if at this point you're really thinking that all these major religions of the world, the external trappings of it, really meant to really help you to elevate yourself in some way. It is not, right? So esoteric, on the other hand, is based on you controlling your own mind rather than being mind control. You having the ability to control your own mind, your own emotions, managing your own state of being, right? The Bhagavad Gita spoke about this a lot, and has the answers, by the way, for controlling your own inner workings, the inner workings of yourself, managing your anger, managing your emotions, not being taken away by the senses, your sense organs, not being carried away by the things of this world and so on, greed and material possessions and all these things, right? As the esoteric is designed, right, or your willingness, your openness to the esoteric is what is going to help you to have that sense of, or develop, right? It's not an overnight thing, it's a training, right? To develop, or to bring yourself to the point where you can, because it was a long journey for me, right? But to bring yourself to the point where you can manage your emotions, right? Have a balance between your emotions and logic and so on, right? And to balance and to bring harmony to your internal environment, right? Another difference between exoteric and esoteric, another difference between exoteric and esoteric is that the exoteric is based on writings or systems, organizations and systems. For example, none of us actually, well, I don't know of anyone who actually sat with anybody who wrote or compiled the Bible. I shouldn't say write, who compiled the Bible, wrote and compiled the Bible, who chose to leave out certain books, and why did they choose to leave out certain books from the Bible, right? I don't know anybody do you know anybody who would have written or compiled the Bible, and oh hey, why did you all did not include the Gospel of Thomas in the Bible, right? Why did you all leave out so many different books from the Bible, right? What was the purpose in including some and not including others, right? So these are the questions that people really need to sit and ask themselves concerning exoteric religion, right? So it's based on the agendas of, right? The agendas of exoteric aspects of religion is based on particular agendas, right? Whereas when you choose to open yourself and look into the esoteric or the occulted aspects of religion, you would find that you need to navigate you need to wade through, you need to navigate certain material, not only material, but your own experiences, right? Which is primarily what I have been doing, right? Wading through, navigating self-life experiences, navigating spiritual and self-experiences to come to my own understanding of what truth is, right? And this is something that is not, I am not saying that, hey, whatever I say in here, you will take it wholesale and believe it, right? I don't want nobody to believe what I am saying here. That is the worst thing that you could possibly do, right? Don't believe anything I'm saying here. Have it, think about it, meditate on it, let it, see whether it resonates with your consciousness, see whether it resonates with your heart space, right? Put aside your biases, right, about what you grew up with or what you didn't grow up with, and see whether or not it resonates with your heart space, your intuition and logic and reasoning, right? That is what the esoteric is about. You probing for your own self rather than depending on your religious leader to tell you, hey, this is this, this is that, right? So you're going to burn in hell for eternity for doing one little thing that you could actually burn out your karma on earth for, right? So the last difference I will go into with regard to difference between exo and eso. Exoteric is based on storytelling, right? So you go to church, mosque, temple, right? They go and they tell you one set of tralala stories about all these things that should really be an analogy, right? All these stories that should be analogies and comparing it to real life and teaching about life on the whole, right? Or teaching about morality, right? Teaching about life and morality, right versus wrong, right? But they prefer to use it and to teach one set of tralala stories. So storytelling is a feature of exoteric religion, whereas the esoteric, right? The esoteric deals with truth telling based on your own conclusion, drawing conclusions of truth based on your experiences and your own research. Take care, everybody. Good night.